This is a poem by Susan Warsinger called Democracy, a Poem. Also on United States Holocaust Memorial Museum website and under Echoes of Memory. The ocean carries my boat to a new land. I stand at the railing to see the symbol of freedom and democracy. A fog is thick until the early sun kisses it away. The mist rises like a curtain, slowly and carefully, and all that I suffered between 1933 and 1941 fades away with the fog. Survival and freedom washes over me, like a gentle warm wave that will keep me safe. I found freedom is not for everyone. Democracy is not perfect. A government of people makes mistakes. Some are still being resolved. We have to keep striving to improve our changing society. It is difficult to maintain perfect democracy. Many years have passed since I disembarked in the New York City after sailing by the Statue of Liberty, the beacon of hope for a better world. What happens now is temporary. There's much hope for the future. The people and the government will unite by working our differences out together in our humanitarian way, enhancing human dignity and equality, and committing to the sanctity of all human life. Thank you, Susan, for sharing what it felt like to finally be safe, to escape. Can't imagine. And this is what we're going to be going through now. Where will we flee when they come for us? When will we say enough when they've taken all of our neighbors? This doesn't end tomorrow, next week. This doesn't end at the end of his terms. This ends when you stand up and say enough. Stand now, regardless of who you think you are. You're going to be tested. Let's not find out the hard way. Let's not be another museum piece on how we should think differently in the future for a better society. Let's listen to the people who already went through it. For those of you who may not remember or know or haven't picked up a book lately, the landing at Normandy, the 5 beaches of D-Day, well, they were codenamed Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, and Sword. It began June 6, 1944. It marked the turning point in the war. The Allied operation, it was called Operation Overlord. And 156,000 American, British, and Canadian troops and 5 German-occupied beaches. Do you want to see history repeated? This is quoted straight from the History Channel's website. On Utah itself, U.S. forces landed more than a mile away from their intended destination, due in part to strong currents. Luckily for them, this area was actually less well protected. "We'll start the war from here," U.S. Brigadier General Theodore Roosevelt Jr., the son of former President Theodore Roosevelt, shouted upon realizing the mistake. By noon, his men had linked up with some of the other paratroopers, and by day's end, they had advanced 4 miles inland, suffering relatively few casualties in the process. They were the lucky ones. By a fluke of currents. Are you going to let the currents carry you and hope that you happen to land on the beach just at the right time, just a little bit further down than expected, so that way you might survive? Because that was just circumstance. It only gets darker from there. And those are the people who are going to stop the other terrible things that were happening. Now, don't think that this isn't a far-fetched thing that could happen to you, because it's happening already in the world. Just ask the Uyghurs in China. Just ask them. Oh, wait, that's right. You can't, because you don't get information in and out. How about you ask the South Koreans? Because I'm sure they could tell you some horrible shit. Donald Trump thinks that these people are great. He loves Kim Jong-un. He says it himself. He wishes that his people would jump just like, his favorite pen pal. I urge you, I implore you, rise. Use your voice. Do what it takes. I'm putting myself out here on the internet. This isn't something I normally do. This may or may not make any difference. I highly doubt very many of you are going to watch this. And if you do watch it, likely it's not going to change your opinion. It's not going to change your mind. Especially if you're those kind of people. But if you're not those kind of people, and you hear this message, I hope it inspires you. Don't let them take your neighbors. Ask questions. For starters, in the first Trump presidency, when he blamed the previous administration for the separation of families, what do you think is going to happen this time? What do you think is going to happen this time? I am freedom for all Earth. Things are about to get bad. Come together right now.